I was like thinking, this is it. This is the moment. They're gonna pluck me from obscurity. And I remember throwing a chair in the audition. So many things that I can say on this topic. I lost all train of thought. Well, look at that light though. Welcome to my TED Talk. Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be talking about something that has been a really important part of my life for almost 15 years, and that is acting, drama, etc. I tried to write a few notes as to what to talk about in this video because there's just so much to talk about. I think today I'm going to focus on how I got started, that evolution. Yeah, let's dive in. Woo! So the first thing I remember about having a desire to perform and be on stage, etc. So I was about 5 years old and I was in this play at my church, and my parents were in ministry, so it was like their church. So my mum created this role for me. So this is like a Christmas play, and my mum created this role where I was, I think, like Mary's little sister or something like that. It couldn't have been Jesus' older sister. That would make no sense. Imagine. Rewriting history. Anyway, I can still think back to that time being 5 years old. I had this little fake broom I was supposed to use. I don't think I had any lines. I just was on stage for a little bit. And then at the start of the show, I remember everyone coming in for the service. There was like some hay bales and my mom was like, sit on the hay bale. I don't even know if she told me to stay there or if it was like just a passing comment, just go over there for a sec. But I took it so seriously and I was like, that's my direction. I sat on the hay bale in like a pose and didn't move and just watched out of the corner of my eye everyone come in. And part of me loved the attention. Duh. And part of me was so enraptured with, wow, I'm on stage and I'm performing. I don't know, there was just something in me that was like, this is awesome, I love this. And from there, things escalated. Or I guess I could say my love for acting and performing grew. I also know, I haven't talked to my mom about this, but I know she said that I was on a gardening magazine cover, as a child. with a man, maybe my grandpa or something. But anyway, I don't know how it happened. I really need to find out and get the story of that. But let's be honest, my mom's not gonna remember. This was 20 years ago more. Editing update, my mum did remember a bit of this. She said it was through her acting agent she had at the time that I got this job. It was a one-off thing. She tried to track it down later on and just couldn't. So I've never seen it and she's never seen it. But there were photos taken. It may not have been for gardening though. I don't know where I got that fact. And then, yeah, I didn't really do any acting as a kid apart from in church plays, school plays, that sort of thing. I wasn't a prodigy or anything at all. I just liked it. I really enjoyed it. Again, it's part of my personality, and the makeup of who I am is that I like performing and entertaining people and telling stories. So yeah, that was always somewhat in my life as a child. So then I get to about 12 years old. And at this point, like any kid, I went through a bunch of different things of what I wanted to be when I grew up. But until this age, nothing really stuck. I had kind of been playing with the idea of I wanted be either a singer, dancer, singing, dancing, and acting were my passions. I'd kind of go between things. But when I was 12, I realized that in acting, you can not only act, but you can sing, you can dance, you can do anything. It's so many genres and mediums of acting. And that I was sold. I was that's amazing. And this is so embarrassing. I used to hardcore stalk girls my age who were big stars, big actors and stuff. By stalk, I mean I would look up everything they had been in, find their their Twitter or I didn't even ever use Twitter. I don't know why I said that. Part of me was just so entranced by their lives. They get to act and they're my age, and every time I saw a kid on TV in a movie, I was I wish I could do that. I want to do that so badly. Yeah, 12 years old. At the time, we went to this little library and maybe I just stumbled upon Acting for Dummies. You know those yellow cover books, yellow and black, and it's something for dummies. I found Acting for Dummies and I borrowed it. And I remember reading through every page. You know, it's talking about like headshots and like the section about kids and getting into it and auditions, and I was like, whoa, like this is amazing. I was just so excited about the possibility of getting to perform and act. I feel emotional talking about this. Oh. But yeah, so I remember just deciding then and there, this is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm meant to do. Act. So I then would spend every waking moment, I would spend hours like in the bathroom taking a shower when really I'd just be performing in front of the mirror. I'd make up scenes, I'd talk in, usually it was an American accent. I was always just like, that seems like where everyone's, like what accent everyone has on the movies, so I need to do that. Yeah, in my bedroom mirror, I would dress up as Sharpay from like High School Musical 2 and just perform these routines for hours. This is probably why I didn't have as many friends. I've always been very content with my own company. Oh man, it's just so like, to relive this is like, it's just such like a big part of my heart and who I am. So eventually I got the courage to ask or tell my mum that, hey, like, I want to be an actor. Like, I'm serious about this. But my mum needed a bit of convincing. I don't know when, but it felt like pretty soon after that conversation, my mum found like a local free like drama class. And I remember I was one of 3 people who went and attended for like a few weeks or so. Because my mum wanted to see if I was serious. And then she put me in, where I live, there's a company called, I think, what are they called now? Stage School Australia. Yeah. At the time it had a different name. So I went to do Victorian Youth Theatre, which is like drama classes and you perform every term or every semester. And that was so good. So I must have been about 13 by the time I joined that. And it was so much fun. I mean, I wasn't very good to begin with, but I had the passion for it. Every part of it was so good for me. The social side, getting confident, and I don't know, I just felt like I belonged. These are my people. It was amazing. And at the time, as I talked about in my like mini life story, I was dealing with depression, and so my drama classes was something that I looked forward to all week. I just felt like that, yeah, sense of belonging, sense of being able to just express myself. The creative arts are so good in that way, and I really think like all kids should do something creative. Side note, I didn't want this to be too long, so I'm only gonna cover basically up to like the end of high school. So yeah. I'm 13, I'm 14, I do Victorian Youth Theatre. I then switch and I end up doing the musical theatre side because I was doing work experience backstage at some of the shows and I saw them perform and I was like, I'm such a fool. I miss singing, I miss that ensemble, mixed harmonies, that part singing, that dancing, that fully encompasses every part of performing. Anyway, that was a bit of a rant. Yes, I switched to do the musical theatre side for a bit, and that took me basically to the end of high school. Now, I'll go back a little bit. So that was like my education part of the training I was doing. Outside of that, I had joined the talent agency for this children's performing school that I was a part of. Yeah, they had like a talent agency that I think my sister actually was in it for a little bit. Many years prior to this. That's crazy. But anyway, I'm getting so distracted. Hold on. So then I joined the agency, got my first like headshots and everything. So fun. I wish I could find them. Dang, I wish I could find them. That would be great to put in here. But yeah, I think I had like a few auditions through them, which I'm gonna do another video talking about all the auditions I've done. Things that you'd know. Yes, I'll do another video on that. So it wasn't like all the time. They had quite a few kids, like a lot of kids in that agency. And I look like a lot of other people, so I didn't get like too many auditions, but it was enough to get an experience of it. And I would go to workshops, things like that. I remember my first acting workshop through this agency and I was like thinking, this is it. This is the moment. They're gonna pluck me from obscurity, like I'm gonna be discovered. It's all gonna happen for me. Obviously that did not happen. Yeah, and then alongside that, being an agency, I think they encourage you to like self-submit for like stuff. So there's different websites here in Australia that you can find auditions and submit yourself. So I was doing that, and I'd get auditions for like short films, like still stuff, which is like, I guess, modeling, but not like really. I did end up booking this, I don't want to say modeling job, it was just like a still campaign for like, I don't know. It wasn't like fashion, it was something else. And it just like fell through, which was sad, because I remember thinking, this is it, I booked a job, there's only gonna be more from here. Yeah, that was a real introduction to the acting world. But yeah, so I actually think the first audition I went on that was like self-submitted for a short film, I must have been, I want to say 16 or 15, and I wrote a journal entry afterwards, which again, I wish I had. I remember the audition, it was for, yes, this short film. So it was about a high school student who had like split personality, or maybe there was a twin, something like that. And at the time, I was really into the Vampire Diaries. And so if you've watched it, you know, there's like, Elena is like the heroine or whatever. And then there's like Catherine, which is like played by the same actress, but I think her doppelganger or something. And she's like dark, like more of the bad guy. So I remember basing my audition on that show and the character. And I just took it so seriously. And I remember throwing a chair in the audition. Because like, I think it must have said something like that. I wouldn't have just done that. Like, I wouldn't have improvised that. But I remember like it startled them. I didn't get the part, no. Anyway, that was a little audition story for you. But yeah, so I remember like finishing up, going home, writing in my journal that basically it was the best feeling, putting myself out there. Because until then I'd been kind of frustrated. I was like, I want to be acting, but there's no part for me. Like I'm not represented, I'm not doing classes, like I don't have auditions, and that's what I want to do. So to go to my first self-submitted audition, knowing I put myself out there, did my best, regardless of whether I got it or not, I was just thrilled to have that opportunity. And I think it's so easy, and fair enough, it's easy as actors to go from one stage or one phase of the career to the next, really taking for granted each stage. So like there are people right now who wish they had auditions and they're not getting auditions, and that sucks. And then there's other people who maybe are getting heaps of auditions but then just not booking anything, so that's frustrating. And then beyond that is like people who are getting stuff but it's not for roles they want to do, or it's like not, yeah, or they're typecast. There's just so many phases where it's just like you take it for granted. But anyway, that was like another side rant. What was I talking about? Yes, so that then brings me to the, I would say, biggest job that I've done, which was a commercial. I think it was a national commercial for Amy Insurance, which is, I don't know if they're international, but anyway, they're here in Australia. It was just one of those auditions I did through my agency. I was, I think, 17, and it was literally like there were no lines. So yeah, the audition was just like, I go in, I think I had to like pretend I was on my phone in a car, like literally it was just like that. It was nothing, there was no skill required really. I think maybe a week went by and I was like, whatever. And then I got a text from my mum saying that I booked it, and then I had like a fitting, like a costume fitting the next day or like a couple days later, and then yeah, and then it was filming. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was just such an amazing moment where I was like, I'm gonna be able to do something in a professional setting. I may not have lines, but I'm gonna get to act and be paid for it. Like, who doesn't want to be paid for the thing they love the most and that they love doing and have trained for? So that was just a really fun time. I think it filmed for like, it's literally like I want to say like 20-second commercial, probably less, and it filmed for maybe 7 or 8 hours. I did not want to leave. Yeah, it was just like a great experience being on a set, seeing how it worked. Like there was so many people involved in this one commercial. It was crazy. So that was my introduction to an acting set. And then it went downhill. No. But yeah, that was kind of like something that really sparked even more of my interest and fascination with film and TV. It felt like a dream. I don't know, like it might seem silly because it's just like a commercial, but I was just so appreciative. I was just so thankful for that opportunity to be around what I was so interested in and see it all work. So yeah, the first paid theatre gig I got was when I was 16 years old, and I did an audition through my agency, and it was for a children's pantomime of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So I auditioned for Goldilocks. I had to like sing a song, I think do a scene or something. So at this particular audition, I remember leaving thinking, I think they really liked me. I think I've got a good shot of this. And sure enough, not too long after, found out I got it, and it was so exciting. At the time I was like, oh my gosh, they're paying me how much to act? And now I'm like, yeah, it was like probably minimum wage for that. But it was, yeah, also just a cool experience. I got to work with, I think just like, yeah, 3 other people roughly my age. It was like a small company. We had rehearsals, learnt the pantomime, did the show, and I think it was like a lot of performances. It must have been, it was in the school holidays, so like all 2 weeks of the holidays, and I think I did 2 shows most days. Yeah, it was really cool. Got to sing, got to do a little bit of dancing, and just a ton of acting and even improvisation, which was really fun. Like it was really cool. So that was the first theatre job I did. But yeah, I'd say if you're a young person watching and you are interested in acting, I'd say the #1 piece of advice that I would give is that you should make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. So that's something I'll talk about in another video. Make sure you're doing it because you really love the art of it. Don't do it because you want to be famous or think that you'll earn a lot of money or that it'll be like an easy way to like get attention and recognition. That's all stuff that is so secondary to what actually happens. There are a lot of harsh realities that come with actually pursuing it, especially when you're outside of being a kid. Like you no longer have shelter and free food and, you know, maybe like support from family. Like there's a lot of harsher realities. So 100% you need to know that you want to do it because you love the art of acting. Don't be afraid to try different things, make plans, set goals, and yeah, definitely get some training and experience. But like, yeah, go for it, yay. So I'll probably finish it off there. That was like my intro, yeah, how I got started in acting. There's been so many ups and downs since then, which I'll talk about in another video. Like I said, I'm gonna do one on like auditions I've done, and then I'll do one kind of talking about later on in my career. Drama school through like to when I lived in LA and basically the last 5 years-ish. Yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I love you lots, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Please, for the love of everything good, do not clean your car.